Okay, something a little different today, guys. I was looking through my collection of paddles and I just realized I have, a pretty large collection. And within that collection, I have some interesting things that you may or may not have heard about. Nonetheless, I find these paddles very interesting to me, and here are the top 5 most interesting paddles that I personally own. Some of these I would definitely go to a tournament with, and some of these are just to turn heads when I'm playing rec play. But all of them are really fun and make for some memorable times on the court. I'm not giving you a full review or full specs of these paddles or anything. I'm just sharing what I personally find interesting and why. Links and discount codes in the description if you are interested in purchasing any of these paddles to help support the channel. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first paddle on the list is the Falcon Elite Ergo by Bird. Clearly, this makes the list as it is definitely one to turn heads. Just look at it. I don't even need to say much else about it. It's just weird. Now, there is another brand called PBZ that offers paddles in a hacksaw style if you wanted to check them out as well. When I look at the Falcon Elite Ergo, a handsaw or a pistol is the first thing that comes to mind. People have also called it the cutting board at my local courts. The Falcon Ergo Elite is pretty low powered, and I definitely wouldn't be going to a tournament with it. The sweet spot is kind of small, but the interesting ergonomics of the paddle definitely allows you to do some funny shots. Like doing some inside out backhand swipes or fades is kind of fun with it, but most of the time your shot selection is limited and your wrist mobility is also a bit limited as well. You also technically lose reach with this paddle because you can't really choke up or down on the paddle grip. And at $230 USD, it's sort of a tough sell, but if you really wanted to challenge yourself or just get one to have your friends try out, it will definitely be hilarious. I promise you that. The only reason it didn't get a higher spot on the list is because, well, it's been out for a while now and honestly could have easily made the #1 spot if I didn't already own it for as long as I've had. You may have also seen this paddle around. Some pros have played with it in some videos just for fun. I think Zane has played with it in some videos of his, and he even had Ben Johns play with it as well. So you can check out those videos or search for those videos. Okay, next up we have the BNB Shogun, which if you want to find out more info on, you can check out the full review from my good buddy Chris Olsen from the Pickleball Studio. This paddle is interesting because it has that titanium and carbon fiber weave face. As far as I know, and at the time of recording this video, the Shogun is the first and only paddle I know that has this titanium carbon fiber weave face. It definitely gives it a unique look and a satisfying feel. It almost feels like it's slightly spring-loaded, but still quite forgiving and soft when you need it to be. I hope that other companies start looking at this face material as an option for their lineups, along with raw carbon fiber and Kevlar in the near future. Okay, coming in at number 3 on my list are the new Revo Pro paddles from Revo. Revo is a US-based company out of Michigan that manufacture their paddles right here in the US. Now, what's interesting about them is that they're on a mission to create high-performing pickleball paddles sustainably. And I think that they did with these. The Revo Pro Reach and Pure have faces made of basalt. Basalt is a dark, fine-grained volcanic rock that is low in silica content and rich in iron and magnesium. It forms from the rapid cooling of basaltic lava exposed or very near the surface of the earth. So basically, Revo created a paddle made out of lava. Okay, not exactly, but I do know that basalt and basalt fibers are used in a lot of high-performance sporting goods, from skis to bikes, hockey sticks, and tennis rackets, just to name a few. In fact, I'm pretty sure one of my favorite tennis rackets of all time, the 2011 Wilson BLX 6-1 Tour, used basalt in its construction. The Revo Pros pretty much play like raw carbon fiber face paddles, and rightfully so, since basalt also has high strength and durability. And was also able to get a nice peel ply on their face sheets as well, giving much better spin performance than their previous paddles. And Quite honestly, I think that these paddles perform and compete with some of the best paddles out there in terms of power, pop, spin, and touch. So yeah, these paddles I've nicknamed the lava paddles are pretty cool and can compete with the best of them. I'll probably do a full review on these paddles a bit later, but I could definitely go to a tournament with these paddles and expect to do very well. Coming in at second place, I got the Quiet 2 from a little company called Pickle. That's spelled P-K-O-L-L. Honestly, all of the paddles from Pickle are interesting because they have this small spoon-like shape. I mean, they all basically look like trainer paddles. Now, the face size is not nearly as small as a trainer paddle, but they are all actually USAP approved for tournament play, while I think trainer paddles are not approved for sanctioned or official tournament events. My favorite one out of the bunch that I've tried is the Quiet 2, which has the Kevlar carbon fiber hybrid face. I feel like it just improved the feel of the paddle when compared to the raw carbon fiber models. I was honestly skeptical of these paddles at first, but I really learned to love them, and I just have a lot of fun playing with them. They are not as difficult to play with as you might think, and you really get the benefits of really fast hand speed because they are really low in swing weight, which I don't have the exact numbers for, but it has to be in the high 90s to low 100s. But you also get the benefits of an elongated paddle, so you can really whip this thing and get some crazy shots from the baseline or in transition. You also get the benefits of flexing on your friends and opponents when you win because you kind of look like a boss playing with this thing. Would I go to a tournament with the Pickle paddles? I probably would, but I need to be really dialed in since the resets are probably the most difficult thing to perform effectively with it. Other than that, I really like this thing, and at $150 USD before discount code, it's the most affordable paddle on this list, and I actually think it's the most fun to play with. Now, before I get into the number one pick, I wanted to give an honorable mention to the Gamma Airbender, which is an edgeless paddle with a raw carbon fiber face. Now, the interesting thing about the Airbender is that it has these weighted caps and inserts to change how the paddle plays. I think the concept is cool, but I don't know how well executed it is here. I need to play with it a little bit more. Nonetheless, I still think it's interesting, and I hope they can iterate on this a bit more because by itself, the Airbender plays pretty good and is a pretty good paddle. All right, coming in at the number one spot is the paddle called the Bigwood by Bigwood Sporting Goods. So you're probably seeing this and thinking, what's so special about that? It looks like just a wooden paddle. Some people have actually asked me or said to me if I'm playing with a piece of cardboard, and from afar, it definitely looks like that. But really, this is a wooden paddle like no other. Like the name suggests, it is made out of wood, but it actually has a hollow wooden core that has a precision CNC honeycomb pattern layout inside of it. I believe it's made out of basswood, which is a super lightweight but strong North American hardwood. So the founder of Bigwood, which is Forrest Hughes, is a pickleball fanatic, and similar to the aforementioned Revo company, wanted to make a paddle with sustainability in mind, but set out to make a legit and high performing paddle that used zero plastic. That was his goal, and I think Forrest succeeded in making a paddle using zero plastic. It's actually made entirely from wood, leather, and eco-friendly glue. Vegan leather is used in the handle, although I have this brown overgrip from Lukey on mine. It sports an 18mm core and seems to be edgeless from what I can tell. Now the cool thing is that it has a static weight of about 8.1 to 8.3 ounces, which is kind of crazy because when I first opened the box and I saw it, I was like, this thing has got to weigh at least 10 ounces or more. But this thing is actually pretty well balanced, and although I don't have exact metrics for the paddle, it actually rips and plays pretty well. The power and pop on this paddle is actually very good by today's standards, and I would describe the feeling as a mix between a wooden paddle and a Nomex / Kevlar core paddle such as the Onyx Z5, but much more comfortable and forgiving feel. I could definitely spin the paddle pretty well from all areas of the court, but I do think some improvements could be made if the paddle face had a bit more texture to it. Maybe sandblasting it or something just to help with the grab of the ball for those flicks and rolls at the kitchen line. I may play with it more and maybe do a review on it because I do think that it's pretty cool. And there isn't anything else on the market quite like it. And because there isn't anything quite like it on the market, it's kind of expensive, coming in at $220 USD. So it might not be for you watching out there, but I really do think this is really cool and novel. I wonder if I could get some interesting patterns or maybe someone's face laser etched onto the face of this thing, but we'll see. Even if you don't necessarily want to play with this paddle, I could definitely see it being some sort of prop or decoration in the right type of room or setting, especially if I could get like Chris's face laser etched into the paddle face. I think that would be really funny and cool. Okay, there you have it, the top 5 most interesting paddles that I own. Let me know down in the comments which paddle you find the most interesting and which one you would like to try out if you had the chance. Till next time, play better. Peace.